Picture this, a 5-member group from Manila, with no K-pop conglomerate behind them, no in-house record label, no corporate machine pulling strings. Walking onto the same festival grounds that have hosted Lorde, Charli XCX, and Blackpink's Jennie. That's exactly what happened this past July when SB19 took the Allianz stage at Lollapalooza in Chicago, one of the biggest music festivals on the planet. Fans already know the highlights. What most people haven't broken down is the business decision-making that made it possible. On StageWire, we don't just cover the moment, we dig into how it actually happened. So stick around, because the story behind this milestone says more about the future of the music business than most people realize. For most of modern pop history, artists needed permission to go global. A major label, a distribution deal, a promotional machine with the connections to land a festival slot. That's the system. K-pop itself was built inside of massive companies investing years and millions of dollars into training, production, and marketing before an act ever touched an international stage. It works. It's produced some of the biggest groups on the planet. But it's not the only door into the room anymore, and SB19's July 30th set at Grant Park is proof of that. To understand how they got there, you have to rewind to 2023. SB19 spent their early years managed by ShowBT Philippines, a company built on the Korean idol training model. Then, in October of that year, the group did something few Southeast Asian acts had attempted. They walked away and built their own company instead. 1Z Entertainment, the name stands for One Zone, launched with member Pablo at the helm, first as CEO and now carrying the title of president. It wasn't just a rebrand. It meant SB19 now controlled their own songwriting, choreography, music videos, merchandise, and business strategy, with no outside label dictating the vision. That kind of independence is a gamble. There's no safety net of a corporate marketing budget, no built-in distribution deal, no guaranteed media slots. Everything has to be earned. But it also means every win belongs entirely to the artist, and every partnership gets chosen, not assigned. And SB19 has been choosy. Their 2023 EP, Pagtatag, released under 1Z, but in partnership with Sony Music Philippines for distribution, proof that independence doesn't mean isolation. For international touring, SB19 struck a deal with Live Nation Philippines, giving them access to festival booking infrastructure most self-managed acts never see. That's the real lesson hiding underneath the Lollapalooza headline. SB19 didn't reject the industry's tools, they just stopped letting a single company control all of them at once. None of this would have been possible 10 or 15 years ago, and that matters beyond just SB19's story. Streaming platforms, social media, and direct-to-fan content have quietly rewritten who gets to compete on a global stage. An act no longer needs a multinational company footing the bill for international radio pushes and press junkets. A song can now reach a listener in Chicago the same day it reaches a listener in Manila, and a fanbase can organize a global campaign from group chats and comment sections instead of waiting on a label's marketing department. SB19 didn't invent that shift, but they've been one of the clearest examples of an act actually building a career on top of it. None of this happened overnight, either. Long before Chicago, SB19 was stacking milestones. By January of this year, the group had crossed 1 billion total streams on Spotify across their discography. In February, they released Visa, a dance pop single that doubles as commentary on the visa barriers Filipino artists and workers face trying to work internationally, a subject close to their own story. In March, they performed at Japan's DUNK festival on a bill that included The Strokes, David Byrne, and Blackpink's Jennie. That same month, they quietly announced on social media that Lollapalooza was next. And just 2 days before their Grant Park set, they performed at the Grammy Museum's Global Spin Live series in Los Angeles, another marker of an act moving through rooms that most independent groups never get invited into. Every one of those steps built the same thing. A global audience who already knew the name SB19 before the festival poster ever went up. That audience has a name, Aten, and it's been one of the group's biggest business assets. When the Lollapalooza lineup dropped, Aten didn't just wait for showtime. They organized watch parties, streaming pushes, and translation threads so non-Filipino fans could follow along. When SB19 actually walked out on July 30th and opened with "Damn" before launching straight into Gento. The hashtag SB19 at Lollapalooza shot to the #1 trending spot on X in the Philippines within hours. Clips of the set, 9 songs deep, including the live debut of their new single Lawless, released that same day, spread across timelines from Manila to Chicago. Fans in the crowd waved Filipino flags. On stage, the group told the audience they were all atin there, folding the Filipino word for ours into a moment shared with a festival crowd that had never seen a Filipino act on that stage before. It's worth pausing on that milestone because it's a real one. SB19 became the first all-Filipino group and the first act from Southeast Asia to ever perform at Lollapalooza's Chicago edition. In a lineup stacked with Charlie XCX, Tate McRae, The Smashing Pumpkins, and Jenny, a P-pop group from Manila didn't just get a slot. Festival press coverage afterward called it one of the standout sets of the entire weekend. Backstage, member Pablo talked about music's ability to cross language barriers entirely, and that idea says a lot about why this worked. SB19 didn't need an American label to translate their appeal. Streaming platforms and social media did that job for free, connecting a Filipino fanbase directly to festival crowds who'd never heard a P-pop song before that afternoon. This also isn't happening in a vacuum. Just months earlier, fellow P-pop act Binny made their own debut at Coachella, two of the Philippines' biggest pop exports, hitting two of America's biggest festivals in the same year, without either one going through a major international label first. That's not a coincidence. That's a genre proving its business model works. So what actually made this possible? Strip away the fandom and you're left with a pretty clean blueprint. Own your intellectual property before you chase the big stage. Build genuine relationships with fans instead of manufacturing hype. Choose partners, a distributor here, a touring company there, instead of signing over full control to one gatekeeper. Keep showing up internationally in smaller rooms before expecting the big one. And when a bigger stage finally comes, treat it as one milestone in a longer plan rather than the whole plan itself. None of that requires a record label's permission, and none of it is unique to music. It's the same playbook that works for a creator building a YouTube channel or a founder building a company from nothing. Where does SB19 go from here? Lollapalooza isn't the finish line, it's leverage. 1Z Entertainment has already started expanding beyond SB19 themselves, opening trainee auditions in January and launching their first girl group under the label in April, a sign the company wants to build an ecosystem, not just manage one group's career. If that expansion succeeds, 1Z stops being just SB19's company and starts becoming a genuine alternative to the traditional Philippine entertainment system. More releases, more international festival slots, and more attempts to prove that a Filipino-owned label can compete on a global stage are almost certainly coming next. What SB19 pulled off in Chicago wasn't luck, and it wasn't a shortcut around the traditional industry either. It was years of ownership decisions adding up to one very public moment. The old gatekeeper model isn't gone, but SB19 just showed there's more than one way to walk through the door. Do you think SB19's independent route becomes the new standard for artists chasing global stages, or does the traditional label system still hold the advantage? Drop your take in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the business behind the music, hit like on this video, subscribe to StageWire, and turn on notifications so you catch our next deep dive into the industry moves shaping global pop. Thanks for watching, we'll see you in the next one.